I want to start off this video by saying that, just so you know, I'm not mad, just disappointed. Everybody, good or bad, big or small, new or old, I'm not mad at anyone. I've grown past that, and I've come to realize that anger isn't a way to solve anything. It just leads people in circles which eventually spiral into themselves and cease to be. I don't want to be like that. I never wanted to be like that. I won't ask for forgiveness in the same way that I won't ask you to be forgiven for a blind hatred that lasted for a full year. I won't ask for acceptance in the same way that accepting the truth is sometimes a difficult task that comes with sacrifices to our own reality. I won't ask for sympathy because why would you want to sympathize with the villain? And most importantly, I won't ask for understanding because there are facts in this life that are not meant to be understood. Facts that are too monumental, too life-changing, too real. Instead, I will ask for truth. Truth for a better future in which you don't have to hate anyone by what you hear from the people that hated them. Mob mentalities are a powerful thing, man. I should know. The truth of the matter is, I messed up. I overreacted in such a way that caused a lot of people to overact against me. Despite this, I still stand by a lot of what I said. But that was in the past. We've changed a lot since a year ago. I've started talking more to Nader and Lifted in a more private setting, and I'm sure it's been no surprise to many that I've made a couple of fan games in the last year. None of them were meant to be groundbreaking, mostly they were vent projects. Despite this, I never truly felt like it was over. It's never over, and I doubt this will make it be over. And in all honesty, I don't want it to be over. Having it be over would mean that there would still be people in the world who capitalize on the poison they can drive into others as a way to empower themselves. Having it be over would mean that there would be no moral, no message, no gain from anything that has happened over the last 365 days. If this were over, this would be pointless. I don't want this event to be pointless. Rather, I've decided to make this message one of truth. To start, the truth of Nader and I. The Nader 2 is a good man. He cares about other people and isn't afraid to be himself. He gets a bit frozen when put between a rock and a hard place, but I don't blame him. If all he had to judge the character of two people was the messages they presented to him, it's their words against mine. And I knew this, as there were a lot of things I have not and still will not say about the interactions I've had with a lot of people associated with Nader. On August 12, 2019, I was sitting in a British pub and took the time to send a message to him over Discord. I expected full-heartedly to hear that he despised me, or even worse in my mind at the time, forgot about me. In my surprise, though, he said in his thoughts that he kind of messed up dealing with the situation and that he felt others would say the same. Directly to Nader, I hope you lots of luck in life as well, because I think you deserve better than what you currently have. The truth of Egg V and I is a bit melancholy. I still respect you, V. Despite everything, I still respect your ability to drive forwards what you believe in. Not to expose private messages here either, but directly addressing some of the messages you sent to me on December 20th, 2018. I'm sorry that I appeared extremely shallow. I'm truly grieved in my waking hours about how it physically affects you on how vague I was and more than likely still am. There's no way I'm expecting you to accept this apology, as I'm sure there's very little either of us could do that would remove the stigma that we both hold on each other's names. Following the crowd is human instinct. There was little to no reason you shouldn't have believed RD, especially when his vantage point was all you really had. I'm sorry I apparently got fucked off. The truth of Skulldude and I comes down to basics. We've always kind of butted heads, but butting heads with people is natural. Arguing over little petty stuff is nothing new in this world, and it won't be for as long as him and I are alive. A lot of the points I would address to the message he also sent to me on December 20th, 2018 were covered similarly in how I talked about eggs, which honestly isn't surprising considering during this time it seemed like Nader, V, Skull, RD, and even Inferno to a lesser extent would sit in their metaphorical ivory tower together. However, this is not an accurate reflection of the person I see Skull as in his wordings. Usually if one person I've previously listed would hear something, it would be a hive of responses coming from the other four, which usually consisted of the same narrative. But with Skull talking, I'm deeply hurt by what I said. If there's one thing I want to make blatantly clear with this seemingly ramble-like message, I regret the way I talked about you. Skull, you were one of the best people I knew, and I hope going forward that you and I can both grow as people in healthy and respectable ways. Very quickly before I get into the steak and potatoes of everything, is the truth about the Iwana community and I used to have a mindset that I needed to impress people, that I needed to leave a life-changing memory that would affect them deep into their late life about how they would remember the Joshua Boring. Needless to say, I sure left something. I no longer feel the urge to have to impress people or even befriend everyone I meet, because honestly some people just aren't going to remember you deep into your life. The community left a large impact on me, and I'm glad it did. Yet I realize now that the impact it had on me wasn't akin to a prophet having a vision or even a student getting a lesson. And the thing is, it didn't need to be. To quote someone who I will keep anonymous, I completely understand why you'd want to disassociate with the IWC, though it's absolute fucking cancer, and it's why I became inactive and left most servers in the first place. Now that I think about it, it's actually absolute bullshit that when people are memeing the shit out of IWBTMHGO, rating it a 10 and calling it a masterpiece, and then they trash months of work like this, and then if you like any of these hated games, you'll be a disgusting Happle kid and are not allowed anywhere near the community, and then people like Paragus, who are walking arsenic dispensers, are praised in the community like gods. End quote. Maybe one day we'll all finally agree on what we want to be. Just maybe. I've started communicating with RD more recently. Well, communicating is putting it in a good light. It's more in the sense of I'll do something that causes him to try to reach out to me, in which I'll reach back out to him with little to no response, causing me to repeat the cycle. He currently has me blocked on Discord, and honestly I don't blame him. For the last year I've spent nearly every waking moment I've had trying to demonize him, which only spectacularly backfired into my causing half of the community to hate me. Which honestly isn't even too surprising considering the mob mentality of the whole thing during the time it happened, but I digress. I know very little about RD nowadays. I do not know if he still holds these private voice chats in Nader's server, where by private I mean just excluding the people he doesn't want to talk to. I do not know if he still lurks in stonk streams, posting random nonsense whenever the chance arises. And most importantly, I do not know how he is today. I think that's the one thing that affects me the most. As I sit here drowning in my own self-doubt, I do not know how he's even doing. And honestly, I think that's better for us. We don't need to be preoccupied in different methods of driving each other into the ground if all it means is we have to go down with them. It's childish, it's stupid, and it's human. RD, if you decide to watch this for whatever reason, I'm sorry. So, what happens now? Do I just fade back into the void for all eternity to never be seen until I decide to act up again? Well, as easy as that would be, I'm gonna say no. No on the sole basis that stuff like this happens every day. It drives people out of the IWC. It leaves people desperate to figure out what they did, and it leaves others satisfied that they got another one. I'm planning to be more active in the fangame scene again. Not because anyone's telling me to, not because I'm bored, and not because I feel like I genuinely bring something to the table as far as knowledge goes, but because I know that someone out there needs to hear this message. They need to know that someone cares. They need to know that there is truth in the world and that there is hope. My current Discord is JoshuaHB #4420. Feel free to shoot me a message if you have any questions on the whole event. I'd be more than willing to answer them from my point of view, seeing as you've already gotten a year's worth of the other side, and maybe through doing this there won't need to be sides. There won't need to be a right and a wrong, and we can just agree to disagree. Maybe. Just maybe. I hope in the future I can get people to tell me ways that I can improve as a person and as a game maker. Because right now I'm taking the stairs from my failed elevator dangle. To end, I'll finish that quote from the anonymous person earlier. Actually, you know what? Fuck the community games. Like Originality or Happil are not that bad. They're just completely demonized by a community of self-centered circle-jerking assholes who think that they know the absolute truth and will stomp on anyone who doesn't think or act like they do. End quote. Safe travels. Joshua Bourne.